In the beginning, Adam was Eve, and Eve was Adam. Welcome to The Looking Glass. My name is Mary Moses, and I am an oracle. We go live on TikTok, and we create an art technique called The Looking Glass, where we cover a piece of paper with charcoal, and Spirit shows us truth in the form of symbology, numerology, geometry, gematria, and even astronomy. So let's get started. Although this piece is an individual reading for Anne Magritte, this is also a collective reading for us, and those of us who want to know the truth about Adam and Eve, God, and Mary Magdalene. Adam was Eve. Eve was Adam. When Eve was cut from Adam, there was no difference between Adam and Eve. The androgynous ones are written in Sumerian texts. They link back to Mithra. And these androgynous ones are connected to the mermaid and Dagon, the fish god. They were neither male nor female. They were born in the moon god being named Sin. They self-impregnated like Jesus' mother, and they did not copulate. So Anne, you are seated on a wall with your hands in a praying position with the letter M-W. M on the top of your hands and W on your elbows. You have a dead fish on your lap and you're seated on a crescent moon. It seems as if your daughter is at 3 o'clock with also the same shape, the M and the W. Notice the ring of power at 5 o'clock and a holy grail being spilled out on the wall at 7 o'clock. If we move up from there, we see a musical note, a boat anchor, a pig, the word Vatican. We see a horned jinn, a man with a white horse, unicorn on his head. Above you is a crown. Above your crown are two females, as if you are being initiated into something. There is a shield with a ram's face on it at your elbow, a snake that makes the letter S, and a bottle that looks like a flask. There is another ram at 2 o'clock and a rainbow with a Christ behind it at 1 o'clock. You have the number 111 on your stomach, which is the number of the sun. Notice the energies that are facing east as you are, and energies that are facing forward, and faces that are looking west. This is significant. Let's begin to study what the M and the W actually reflects with the letter S next to you, because this is about the seal of Solomon. Solomon owned or held the ring of power that we see at 5 o'clock. And when we look at the seal of Solomon, it makes the letters MW. It is also representative of a wall. Notice the wall in between the two triangles. You're seated on the wall. And this wall is about water and fire, being half water, half fire. Notice the M and the W in the beard and also in the reflection of the water, which is a mirror of the upper world. MW, man, woman, as one. If you look closer, you can see a female on Solomon's beard with the letter M on it. This is Mithra, and it could also reflect man. I encourage you to look very closely at the seal of Solomon, as there are secrets within it. We can see that your back is turned toward a pig, frequency, symbols of Solomon like the anchor and the jinn. The man with the staff and the horse all hold male energies, and these are all being blocked by you and your daughter. The female energies are being presented and highlighted in order to understand the truth of our history, and also to help you to become unpolarized within you. Let's talk about the fish on your lap. This is Ixchel. She is a goddess from the Mayan tradition. She's holding a dead fish. You have a dead fish on your lap. She is presenting a dead fish on her lap. Ixchel has many attributes and energies that are positive when you connect with her energy. When we connect with an ascended master, we receive master downloads. She's connected to the moon, the snake that's next to you, And she looks very much likened to the oracles on the Never-Ending Story. So these oracles are winged beings. They're both male and female. They're half human, half animal, which reflects that they are their original form. The Adam and the Eve, male and female, animal and human, flesh and spirit. The blueprint of your soul brought forward the energy of Ixchel. I encourage you to look deep into the history of this energy, as this energy is strong within you. Notice that Ixchel is seated and you can't see her legs, just like I can't see your legs in your piece. And the front of the wall looks like a mermaid fin. Mithra is sacrificing a bull in this ancient stone art where the bull's body looks like a mermaid body. Mithraism predates Christianity, and they say that the Freemasons are really following Mithra. This is why Master Mason Mithra, the letter M, comes quite often, because Mithra predated Christ and was born of a virgin, had 12 disciples, and basically is the story of Jesus. They say Mithra was both male and female, and this is why our Statue of Liberty looks both male and female, because this is a representation, again, of the secret symbol of Mithra. Initiates who are in grade 2 would have the crown, the lamp, the bell, the veil. They are called nymphs, like a nymph, like a water nymph, and it's associated with Venus. This picture here goes with Mithra. This is the rainbow and the zodiac above. The legs cut off again, but if you look really close in the left and right hand corner, they are mermaid fish people. And so the fish that's in your lap and the mermaid energy goes back to Mithra, and it goes back to Dagon, the fish god, within the Catholic religion. So you have the word Vatican around 9 o'clock next to a pig and Solomon, and this is very male energy, a male-dominated religion, and women were not allowed to become initiates into Mithraism or into these mystery schools. To this day, the Master Masons do not allow women in the secret mysteries. So the story of King Solomon goes that King Solomon had a ring of power. It goes back to the Lord of the Rings. This is Sodomon and the Ring of Power. And the Jinn took over the Ring of Power. And when the Jinn took Solomon's Ring of Power, they changed our religions, and they destroyed the goddess. They destroyed all of the goddesses. So the Magdalene mysteries, this is why you and your daughter have the This is Mary Magdalene energy, and you guys need to connect with the Magdalene energy, because she's connected with the tree of life, which is above your daughter's head. So Mary Magdalene is the master magician that is the master of the cosmic council. She was part of the Essenes, which were both male and female. She is the divine feminine Gaia, or planet Earth. She is a member of the Blue Ray Alliance. So if Mary Magdalene was so important, why were the females completely cut out of our current religions and even our secret societies? Mary Magdalene means magic doorway of the Great Mother, the primordial goddess. And you can see here, your daughter has the magic doorway. Looks like a tarot card, but it is also the tree of life. And she has the star next to it, which is the Star of Solomon. Maybe even Sirius B, the dog star. But the ram, Aries, is above her. And this is about planetary influence in the blueprint of both of your souls. And I'm not really sure why your daughter showed up. And so we have to shed this male-dominated religion, because it's the old paradigm that's dying. And so the Jinn took over the goddess and the female and the Mary Magdalene, and basically imprisoned us in a false reality that I call the princess code. Old patterns aren't working anymore. The resulting exhaustion, confusion, frustration, and despair isn't worth it. We've been sourcing our power from the wrong place, and it's draining us and not fueling us. Our life, energy, and joy and vitality are being sacrificed. So when the jinn took over our religions and made the female the bad guy, basically, and began feeding off of us, keeping us out of secret societies, keeping us out of the initiations of truth, we were rendered ignorant and powerless like a slave. And this magic doorway is a portal, and this portal, we all have access to this portal, but for some reason, and they show on Lord of the Rings that Sodomon is the bad guy. So Solomon may be the bad guy. Because here is the symbols of Solomon, and what do you see in Solomon's symbols? A magical doorway. Well, where's Mary Magdalene in all of this? Why was she cut out? And there's your boat anchor of Solomon. You have all of these symbols within your piece. It's basically a symbol of Orion's belt and about birthing and awakening and going through a sacred marriage. The anchor symbolism. Besides what you read here about the anchor, this is about you standing in your truth with full confidence because you have finally awoken to the real truth. And the real truth is that Adam was Eve and Eve was Adam. There was no bad guy because they were the same person. You are Adam and Eve as well. We should not revere male energy over female energy. And so you holding the fish or not holding the fish, this is a fish in the hand, and these are symbols of Solomon that are reflective of power within our hands and symbols that reflect the secrets to awaken our DNA, awaken our mind and our consciousness, and to grow our spirit in a divine way instead of keeping our spirit cut like a mermaid tail being cut. So you're seated on a crescent moon that also looks like the corona borealis. The corona borealis is known as the seven sisters, and it's connected to the seven chakras, the seven spirits of God, the seven wounds of Christ, and this realm of seven that we live on. So this female energy is coming to you, and she is wearing the crown. She's like Glinda, who holds the blazing star of the corona borealis in her hand. And Glinda is the epitome of corona borealis. So when corona borealis comes around into our consciousness, it awakens within our DNA and within our heart. So this blazing star is being awoken within your DNA. And why does Glinda come down in a bubble? Because from a telescope, the corona borealis looks like a pink bubble surrounded by an emerald color. This reflects your heart chakra opening. The heart chakra is green and your heart is pink. So Emerald City being green, Glinda in the pink bubble is the corona borealis. So your heart chakra is opening, which means you're being awoken to truth. And these hidden truths are that our religions have cut or sacrificed the female. You have some dancing ballerinas on top of your crown, and a dancing ballerina is about transcendence and opening your head chakra. 144,000 is the number on your crown, and it reflects the ascension process and the total numbers that it takes when you fully ignite all of your energy centers. It somehow equals 144,000. Notice all of these alchemical symbolisms within your art, especially the flask, because this flask is about burning away all that is false. Notice the wall. And so this wall and this flask and the steam and the burning and the marriage are part of the mysteries that only men had access to. And so you seated, being initiated by females, is really your higher self telling you that it's time that the female gets initiated into the secret mysteries, because it was wrong that the jinn or King Solomon took advantage of the female. And if you look at the fruit of King Solomon's tree of having 3,000 wives and so many concubines, it's quite apparent that he had no respect for women or how to honor a woman's sacred temple, which is her body. So notice every time we see the flask or the bottle that it is a marriage of the sun and the moon. It is a marriage of flesh and spirit. It is a marriage of Christ consciousness, Mary Magdalene. Look very carefully at the symbolisms because many of these symbolisms are within your art, including the tree, this tree of life. So you're an oracle, you're a psychic, you're a master magician, so is your daughter. You need to connect with Mary Magdalene as she will give you downloads as her energy is easily accessible to you now because you have ascended above a wall and you're going through the sacred marriage. And as your head chakra becomes activated, this alchemical marriage that you're going through will give you access to ascended masters. To establish the true alchemical marriage, cosmic law requires that we first define our own identity of God before we can completely unlock the spiritual potential of our twin flames. For until twin flames achieve a certain level of mastery and oneness with their real selves, they are often unable to cope with the weight of their negative karma. This karma can often be amplified by the very presence of the twin flame. And I've been doing readings for people who are going through the twin flame. It's kind of like the movie Avatar, where the main character said, "How do I dominate this dragon?" And the female said, "It will try to kill you." So your twin flame will basically try to kill you until you heal and go through that divine marriage. Ultimately, each and every one of us must learn to change the negative patterns, the base metal of the human ego, into the gold of our divine or real self. This is called the alchemical marriage, the marriage of our soul, the feminine aspect of our being, to the Lamb, who is the real and enduring spiritual self, the masculine aspect, the Christ self. That part of us who maintains constant contact with the source, the I am presence, is an incomparable love. By daily accelerating consciousness through their communication with or communion with God, the saints gradually transcended the human ego. Eventually, their souls merged with their real spiritual self, and in this alchemical marriage, they ascended back to the heart of God. But I think it's more than that. I think it's about becoming a kick-ass, powerful being by going through this marriage and healing the world and watching the world change and lift up and shift into promise and hope and joy so that we can leave this place knowing that we did our job. So when you make two into one, you make the inner like the outer and the outer like the inner and the upper like the lower. And when you make the male into female, you get it. You balance in the center, which is why you are pretty much in the center of this page. So when you see Mithra cutting the bull in half, we were cut. Adam was cut into Eve. Like Maleficent, our wings were cut. We were cut from our animal, our bull, our ram, our holy dove, our horse, our white rabbit, our white elephant. And so we were cut from consciousness. When I see a snake on someone's head, like the Egyptian or like Ixchel, this reflected that snakes are a portal. We time traveled. We could speak telepathically. We could talk to plants and animals. That's why we're not all dead eating poison ivy and things, because we had the ability to talk to animals, plants, people at one time, and we were cut. It's like Ariel, the story of Ariel, the mermaid, who was cut and she grew legs, but she lost her voice, which is her memory, and she couldn't find her way back home. So this is the story of the mermaid, the fish coming back to sea. So the ram here, notice the MW at the bottom. Notice that the ram looks like the letter M. It's the Aries symbol. So for some reason, the Aries symbol is very strong in your life right now. It's about taking on these challenges head on and being done with it. Notice if you look at this geometrical shape, where is the wall? Where is the M? Where is the W? Where is the crown? This is the embodiment of your piece. The left side of your piece has a holy grail being tipped over with the word help on it. And I think that this reflected that the female her Holy Grail was tipped over. You have the number 15 on your arm, and this reflects a magical square that you should practice. Practice this particular magical square to unlock things within your neurological pathways and within the DNA of your body, and connect with this number through this magical square. And notice this magical square has 1111, like a tic-tac-toe. Although praying hands are about repentance, sincerity, and submission to a higher power, which I think is a suggestion to you from your higher self, it is also about connecting to Mary Magdalene at this time. Possibly King Solomon, because of the symbol of King Solomon. But I think that you also have the numbers 3535 on you. And the number 35 has Jesus Christ is just one of many of the sons of names of God, and it white doves shall be holy unto you, things like that. But it had a lot of Satan references, and so this Satan energy is Dagon the fish god. Dagon the fish god's son was Baal, and Baal sacrificed children and burned them alive. So these organizations, the Vatican and these men, they cut the woman, they cut the child. And so now we are being asked to die with that dead fish of a dead religion, the dead male domination that cut the woman, cut the divine female out. Why? Because they were dominated by the jinn, who pushed our religion to worship Baal and Dagon the fish god, and cut out the divine feminine, made her into a horcrux, which they told us that Mary Magdalene was a whore and that Eve was the one who tempted Adam. But if you actually look in the Bible, there was no such thing. This is all false. Adam was Eve, Eve was Adam. There was no difference. So coming back to balance, knowing and standing your ground like the ram in your truth, that male and female are as powerful as each other. And maybe you're being asked to create a school of mystery, of magic and mystery, because you are showing the female being finally initiated into the mystery schools, where the Freemasons and the people who follow Mithraism, they don't allow females, but the Essenes did, as far as I've read. I may be wrong about that. Doesn't matter. We need to have an initiation where the females can stand in their truth and stand in the knowledge that they weren't the defiled Eve, the evil Eve, or the whore Mary Magdalene, that was all a lie, and that we are turning our backs to the Vatican, to the pigs, to the men who have no respect for women. Zero. Notice your daughter's elbows are blocking the man holding the ring of power. And this ring of power should be in the hands of a balanced one, a male and a female. Notice the female that is crowning you has the Dagon fish god garment on top of her head. This may be a symbol of the male energy of the Pope being replaced by a female. And that would be so funny. Think about how that would change religion if a female was in charge. The little boys wouldn't have to wear chastity belts any longer and worry about being harmed sexually by these predators who harm children and actually worship Baal, the god of child sacrifice. So the dead fish also represents that these energies killed the Ixchel, killed the oracle. The oracle was mentioned in the Bible 23 times. If any man speak, let them speak as the voice of the oracle. So why is the oracle never mentioned? Why does no one mention the oracle? Why is the great oracle killed off and cut off like the bull? Well, it's time to bring it forward, and your energy is here to do that. And your daughter is somehow important in this mission as well. The letter S of Solomon is missing its other half, which means it needs to be the number 8. The number 8 is half water, half flame. This is water, flesh, and flame, spirit. So you're going through a sacred marriage at this time, and it just takes understanding who you are and understanding that we've been in a program called the Princess Code, and we've been lied to about the sacred feminine. It's time to become an initiate of the mystery schools and to become the master magician yourself, and allow ourselves to become a collective consciousness like ballerinas holding hands and dancing in a circle to our true ascension, to our true form, the Adam and the Eve. Please study all of these symbolisms and look deeper into them, like the younger female around 12 o'clock who has the boomerang symbol above her head, which is the corona borealis, the female energy, the Glinda, the Mary Magdalene, the sacred feminine, going through this marriage and unlocking the secret keys within our hearts and within our spirit. Thank you, Anne Marguerite, for what you and your daughter have to teach us collectively about this divine marriage and about the females finally coming into the school of initiation. If you would like a reading, go to forestfairy.com.